Alright fellas, so we have a new team to take on today. It's Havelock North. Now these guys were very good in the Central League, especially before they already qualified for the National League. Off the back of that, they sort of, had a party and their form dropped off a bit, but they showed that they've got some ability. They've got some of our former players. I want us to just respect them, but let's fresh them as well. New team, same job, win.
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 125 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both the All Whites and Cashmere Technical. I hope you're doing well, and come up today we take on the surprise package so far of the season here in New Zealand and Havelock North away from home in a late season game in the National League Championship with a bus trip included. So if you're looking forward to that as well, is an update on what's gone on off the back of our international window in yesterday's episode. Then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But in yesterday's episode, had a window with the All Whites, spanked Senegal as per because they're frauds. They stayed 31st in the world rankings. We went down to 33rd, so if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. Still a bit filthy, but off the back of that, played quite a few big games here with Cashmere Technical before we take on Havelock North, a team I did want to play on camera, give them some shine, seeing as they were pretty good in the Central League, just missed out to Western Suburbs, and have been doing pretty well in the National League Championship as well, as you're about to see. But we've played quite a few big games, as I said, off the back of yesterday's episode, which in terms of for Cashmere Tech was off the back of that Chatham Cup final. First up took on Auckland City, and we actually dropped some points in this game away from home. A 1-1 draw got off to a hot start here with Zuma scoring at the 2-minute mark. To be fair, that was largely thanks to an error from Little Cox in goal, but then Araya equalised with 10 minutes left in the first half, and somehow, despite those stats, we did not find a way to grab a winner in this game. So that was a bit of a disappointing result, albeit I'm pretty sure we'll win that game 99 times out of 100, it's not too worried, but a bit disappointed with that result. Maybe some players needed that one off the back of the international break, but off the back of that, we've got back to winning form. It started off with a 2-0 win over Western Suburbs. First half goals there to CR Diallo and Zuma, so thankfully back on track at my arena. Then a rematch from the Chatham Cup final, and we embarrassed Wellington Olympic 8-0. They have been awful so far in the National League Championship. They were certainly a lot better in that final. A couple of days ago, a hat-trick there to Zuma, and also Kanade picked himself up a brace. And coming into this game, we took on Western Springs, who, to be fair, mid-table in the National League Championship, are the Northern League outfit, but this was relatively comfortable, picking up a 5-1 when we scored 2 goals. They grabbed one back through Clout off the back of that, but thankfully then Janssen and Diop popped up with goals to make it 4-1 at half-time, and Kanate in the goals yet again in the second half. So that does mean 10 points in 4 games off the back of the last time we were at Cashmere Tech for that Chatham Cup final. And what that's done for the National League Championship is actually set up a top of the table clash in today's episode, because Havelock North have made their way up to second. We'll check on how they've done that shortly before we do our bus trip up there just outside of Napier. Auckland City have actually been drawing quite a few games, the other unbeaten team so far in the National League Championship, but they're down in third because of free draws. They've also drawn with Western Suburbs and Christchurch United. Western Springs also run the fight to qualify for the final, only 1 point further behind, picking up 4 wins, but just their 1 loss to us as compared to Auckland City, who picked up that draw against us. And also Western Springs, despite that loss to us, not too far behind either, on 12 points. What that means for this top of the table clash, if we win it, I'm pretty sure that will be enough for us to secure our spot in the final with a game in hand, albeit that game is against Melville, who aren't doing too good, so we should beat them anyway, and that will lock us in for yet another New Zealand final. But if we Havelock North win, then that really does open things up for the final day of the season. Might have to come back and show that game as well as the final if we make it in tomorrow's episode instead of just the final, because off the back of this Havelock North game, we get stuck in to OFC World Cup qualifying with the All Whites. But Havelock North, as I said, did pretty well in the Central League. Actually ran away with that early Western Suburbs clawed them back late, and recent form in the National League Championship has been pretty good as well. Off the back of a draw against Western Springs, they've beaten Christchurch United, Melville, the Phoenix Reserves, and Manukau. So to be fair, a pretty kind run, but still they're doing quite well here. Are the team out of Hastings, playing at Guthrie Park, very much country New Zealand here. We are going to for this one, but these guys doing a really good job. One of our former players that they do have as their key player is Callum Cooper. He only played one game for us, so it's a bit of a stretch to call him a former player. He was here on a non-contract. Then we just decided that we'd let him go when Havelock North did put a bid in for him. But as you can see, 24 appearances, 21 goals. He is certainly someone to keep an eye out on in this game, but a team that could be quite interesting to play here. They're having a very good season. We should beat them, but away from home, this one could be a bit tricky, especially with a few suspensions. Harrison, Debenham, and Jack Honey. So that's a few wingback options we are missing for this game. Debenham definitely a lot more relevant to the first team than Jack Honey, so it does mean young Phil Wilson, he will come in at right back, and also Caruso on the bench to back up Hassana Diop instead of Honey. But apart from that, we are at full strength with the 5 foreigners that we can use. Caruso on the bench, quite useful actually, because Kanate these days is a New Zealander. So thankfully, that did happen, otherwise we'd be struggling for some left back depth with that suspension to Jack Honey. But as I said, I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've taken on Havelock North so far in the save. Albeit now I look here at the home screen, apparently it took them on all the way back. Let's have a look over at the data hub. It was back in 2035, so actually it was last year in the National League Championship. Don't actually remember that game. I thought this was their first season in the big time, apparently not, but this is definitely the best season they've had so far. Let's see if they can improve on that 3-0 win, which we did pick up, but seeing as I'm very sure now this is the first time we're showing them on camera, let's get a bus trip in up in Hastings. And we start off this bus trip by finding our hotel here in Havelock North, which if you're wondering, let's just zoom out a little bit here on the map so you can see what's nearby. Technically part of Hastings, but if we zoom out, you might be able to see the biggest town nearby. It's Napier up there, so it's a fair way south of Napier, but it is called Havelock North. Might be North Hastings or something, to be fair. Not too sure about my geography for that part of the world, but Havelock North, that is where we are going, and we are going to stay here at a bit of a fancy place, the Porter's Boutique Hotel and Conference Centre. Looking at the photos, this one did look like the best option, and price-wise wasn't much difference between the hotel options that were nearby here. As you can see, they've got some decent food in-house, they've got quite nice beds, there's a conference centre for our pre- and post-game meetings once we do get back for a debrief. It looks pretty decent, so this is where we're going to stay here in Havelock North. And once we close this, we can have a look at what the bus trip itself does look like. There was the map I was looking for earlier. Wrong screen, Shaun, so let's zoom back in and actually get in and have a look at the path we're taking here. It's not going to be the longest bus trip, only 3 minutes it should be. We might take a bit longer, but 1.6 kilometres. And as you can see, once I zoom out a bit more, there is Guthrie Park. That is where Havelock North do play, and we are staying in Havelock North town itself. So hopefully some interesting stuff might pop up. Can already see a pizza truck and pizzeria nearby where we're staying. That could be quite useful. Let's start with this bus trip by me zooming in a bit, and then let's get onto Google Maps here, because this should work up here. He says hopefully, and thankfully that is the case. There's a hotel we're staying at. There's some shopping in it, I think, and also there's a restaurant, Mallow, to be fair. Very good review as well. That could be a go, but we're going this way here, down the street, Tiatau Road, I believe is what that does say. In fact, it's right there, top left corner. Absolutely nailed it. Some shops nearby. Let's have a look at what we've got nearby here. Hartley's, whatever that is, can't really tell. Also, we've got a back door. I think that's some clothing that they sell at back door, some sort of outdoor gear. But up here, we're going to go pretty much straight through this roundabout and go past the greenery here, over a little hump in the road, and make our way onto Napier Road. As you can see nearby this hotel, quite a bit of stuff that the players can get stuck into on their day up in Havelock North. A Paper Plus over the road if they want a lotto ticket, and also a couple of banks if that doesn't work out for them. But let's make our way here down the main street. There's Turk's Bar, that could be very good for a post-match get-together as well. Might be a bit more social. Then the hotel conference room, and also over the road looks like another bar with Stella Artois, but we'll just go up the road here, go past the pharmacy, which hopefully none of the boys will need. No injuries currently here at Cashmere Tech, so shouldn't need to stop in there. And let's make our way further down Napier Road here in Havelock North and steadily make our way up towards Guthrie Park. On the left hand side here there is a vet ent, so that's a vet clinic. Pretty obvious. Tomato Park on the right, but we're not going that way. I think we're just going straight through here, is on the right hand side, make our way past a park. Apparently there's a restaurant nearby, but I missed that one. Again, we're going straight through this roundabout here, and all of a sudden it's become a very sunny day as we make our way back onto Napier Road, go past the cafe, which looks like it is going to be partially a pharmacy as well, so not too sure why it's got a bit of a cafe icon up there, but we'll just keep going down here Napier Road and see if something else interesting does pop up. And like that, across the road, something interesting, there is Havelock North Scout Hall. I thought that might be a school. It's for the Boy Scouts up there in Havelock North. Hopefully they're not dodgy scouts who do stuff like the older ones sometimes can do, but we'll keep going here down Napier Road and see if anything pops up apart from houses on the rest of this trip to Guthrie Park. And it continues to be suburban streets here down Napier Road, but coming up we are going to take a right hand turn, not at that intersection, but the next one now that we go 30k an hour, because good old New Zealand speed limits and roadworks and whatnot. But I think here is where we want to go and take a right hand turn, as all of a sudden day turns into evening and whatnot, and we go down St Hill Lane, and yet again going past a bunch of suburban houses. That one might be something more, but it doesn't say so. So that is either a really big fancy property or it's something else that it doesn't say. But we'll keep going down here, and we are getting quite close now to the ground for this game to take on the mighty Havelock North, at least this season in the save. We're about to take a left hand turn here and see what Guthrie Park is all about. Here we go past there a house that's currently being built. To be fair, that kind of looks like a tiny home. Maybe it's still under work, but now we go down Brookvale Road and shortly should be about to make our way to the entrance for Guthrie Park again. Just going past here a bunch of suburban houses and whatnot, but here on the left hand side does look like the home of Havelock North. It might be a bit further up the club rooms if we can actually get a view of that, but indeed there is Guthrie Park, and be fair, that might be one of the better views to actually get of the ground, because there you can see it there. There's some goals. Be fair, not too sure which field is the number one, but that's Guthrie Park. That's where we're playing. It did say an FM. They have a capacity of 1,000 people, and that looks pretty accurate based on that. Let's just go down the road and see if we can find the club rooms. That might be it there. So we'll just keep going down here. Maybe that one down the end is the number one ground, and let's just have a good zoom in once we get away from the trees, because not too sure if we'll be able to turn in there to that driveway on the left hand side. Let's just zoom in a bit and see if that is the club rooms like it looked in FM, and I do think that is the club rooms there of Havelock North FC. So we are here for this game in today's episode of Big Top of the Table Clash in the National League. Kind of hope these guys make the final. That would be something different, albeit now we're going to play them in today's episode. That just leaves Auckland City as the team we have not played, but indeed that is the home of Havelock North. Hopefully we can pick up a win while we're out here and book our spot in the grand final. And here are the team sheets for this one. First up, the home team, who today are in the yellow, so they're in their usual colours. They are going with a 5-1-2-2, so an interesting formation there. Maybe that's why they're doing so well this season. Just that one change starting wise for us. Wilson at right back for the suspended Devon, and also Caruso on the bench instead of Honey, but hopefully can pick up a win in this top of the table clash. And it hasn't taken long for the first highlight of this game, and it is in favour of Havelock North today. They're in the yellow with the blue shorts, our usual home colours today. We're in the blue and the white striped uniform, so it is a bit different to what you usually see us wear here with Cashmere Tech. Don't get thrown off. We are indeed the team in the white with the blue, not our usual colours, and thankfully get the ball back here, and Wilson started to cut inside quite a fair way from right back, and now nice ball forward there for FAIRYTALE. Good chance, but unfortunately tight angle, can't quite hit the target, still 0-0. And we have to go away forward to the half-hour mark for the next highlight of this game. Have just demanded more because it's been very quiet so far. Havelock North have done nothing, but we've had 3 shots and none on target. So a very quiet game so far. Hopefully something might happen from this highlight. Clark plays it out there to Wilson. Takes on the shot with his left foot, and Phil Wilson, I think, scores his first goal for the senior team. And it's an absolute worldie. In fact, maybe not. The commentary didn't say it was, so maybe he scored before. If he did, must have come in a Chatham Cup game or something. But that is a wonderful strike. Badly needed to, because so far we've been stuttering a bit in this game. But that is a wonderful strike from a youth intake player here at Cashmere Tech to make it 1-0. And just as we make our way into the last couple of minutes here of this first half, still 1-0 in front of a throw in here inside the final third. Wilson will float this one far post for CR the youngster, having a great end here to the first half, and the Italian will head that one home to make it 2-0, coming home here with a wet sail in the first half after the first half hour was pretty average from both teams. Now we start to put the foot down here up at Guthrie Park. CR gets double teamed, but is too strong, and that should make sure we've got a 2-goal lead here at halftime. There you can see the stats haven't changed too much from what was going on previously, and now a late corner. CR will float that one far post, and in fact that'll be a penalty. Not too sure who got pushed there. It might have been Kanate, but it's a chance here. This should be for Zoomers from the spot. Our usual penalty taker. Hopefully the Australian can put this one away. Sends the goalie the wrong way. That's a really nice penalty there from Easy Ezra Zoomers. Is 26th of the season, and 2 quick-fire goals do flare the scoreline a bit based on what we've seen so far in this first half, but continue to come home nicely here in the half, and we should now be going into half-time with a 3-goal lead, and that probably already puts this one to bed and should book our ticket in the National League Championship final. Hopefully can just hold on to this lead in the second half, as it's 3-0. And it's taken a fair while in the second half of the first highlight to come, but 20 minutes in, it's a free kick here to Havelock North, albeit deep inside of their half, but quite quickly they make their way into ours, albeit a poor pass there. We do get back on the ball, and rather fortunately Evans actually gets that one for us. Tries to play it through there for Khalid. It falls quite nicely to Lorenzo Janssen. It's a very fortunate goal, but the Australian puts it away. Might be warming up for a final in tomorrow's episode. Our captain, we all know he does like a goal in a big game. To be fair, this kind of counts. Top of the table clash. Havelock North now might be in a bit of trouble trying to make the final off the back of this result, depending on other results on this match day. But that bit of a fortunate goal, but thankfully Janssen puts it away. That should put this one to bed 4-0, albeit only a few minutes later. Down the other end here for a Havelock North corner, and Josh Lee gets his head on the end of that one. They strike back immediately, albeit still might be a case of too little too late. We are still 3 goals in front. That makes it 4-1, but Lee rises like a salmon. To be fair, Cifuentes, I think, gets a decent touch on that one, but unfortunately can't quite stop it, and it does make it 4-1 with 20 minutes left. And right off the back of that, we are now back down the other end for a throw-in down our left-hand side. Diop gets that one back that should have been from CR and finds him again. Just stops there, sizes up his man, puts his far post there for Walid Khalid, who will put that one away. And we've got a 4-goal lead back here at Guthrie Park. And this is kicked into life in these last couple of minutes. In the second half, 2 goals for us, 1 for Havelock North. Khalid, good heel there into the ground. That will beat the Havelock North goalkeeper and make it 5-1, albeit the highlights, they will continue this time from the restart to Havelock North. There's our former player in Cooper, plays that one forward before it goes back to Conroy, and now Harper down the right. Actually does quite well to find Phillips before it goes back to Conroy, putting some good pressure on them. They do eventually find their way forward through Phillips' back foot there. It finds Harper looking for Lee inside the box, but Kanate heads it away, albeit it goes straight back out to a Havelock player. They find Cooper inside the box. He picks up his 22nd of the season, does our former player, albeit, as you saw, only played 1 game. So it's a bit of a stretch, but I guess he's scored against his former team, as happens in FM quite regularly. And that does mean it's now 2-2 in the second half. I think there's Cifuentes again. Might have actually got a good touch on that one, but couldn't find a way to keep that one out. But lots of goals here in this 5-minute period. 2-2, that makes it 5-2. And off the back of that, might be a good time for us here with only about 15 minutes left to make a couple of subs while we can, just seeing who looks like they might be on a bit of a deeper yellow hat than others. We'll bring on Caruso while he's on the bench for Diop. Also, let's take off Sam Clark or Tristan Turner. And we may as well give some game time to young Mitchell Cloud. He's still a youngster. Let's get him onto the field to get a rating as the fire alarm goes off from the fire station up the road. That's definitely not here, so things are okay. But now, another highlight here to Havelock North down the left-hand side. That is an interesting ball. Pings out to Harper and Phillips with a shot. This time Cifuentes does make a decent save, but this game really kicked into life in the last 12 minutes, albeit we were 3-0 at halftime, so maybe not that much. The result does still look pretty comfortable, albeit Josh Lee from a corner scores again, beats Cifuentes at the near post this time, 5-3. There's still time left in Havelock North, have now scored 3 goals inside 10 minutes. Hopefully, we can find a way to go back down the other end and put this one to be 5-3 as we're now inside the last couple of minutes of this game. Thankfully, does look like things now might have slowed down, but as I say that, there's a throw for us here, but thankfully we are on the ball. Turner will find CRDL, and that's a wonderful finish. Not quite as good as Wilson from the first half, but he puts it away. Back to 3-3 here in the second half. But this has been a goal-heavy second half, albeit doesn't look like it's going to change the result that much off back of those late goals that we did score in that first half. But Turner in there for CRDL just cuts inside, leaves a couple of men for dust. And to be fair, nothing that the Havelock North goalkeeper can do about that one. 6-3, surely that's all the action. Apparently not so many highlights here in this game. When to be fair, the result's been put beyond doubt, but now Cooper on the ball will play this one back there for a teammate, squares it quite nicely. Thankfully, decent block there from one of our defenders, but now Lai will get a shot away from the edge of the box, but thankfully that one goes well over the bar. And again, there's another highlight here. All the action late in this one is Western Suburbs are in front of Wellington Olympics, so I think that's quite good for them. Not for Havelock North, but that's a penalty. I didn't see too much wrong with that. Didn't look like there was any contact near the ball, but apparently someone did get brought down. Cooper with a chance from the spot will put it away. So thankfully, we actually scored some goals here in the second half, because otherwise we could be in trouble. And Havelock North are beating us again in the second half. That makes it 4-3, but 6-4 overall as we make our way into 4 minutes of at a time. And of course, another highlight starts. Rather fortunately, that ball does fall to Khaled, albeit not for too long, but then they give it back to Turner. Rather fortunately, keep it. CRDL back on the ball inside the box. Tries to take on a shot, and that does go out for a corner. To be fair, looked like there was more contact there than for that penalty down the other end. But hopefully, just take our time from this one. Maybe score a goal to make it all square in the second half, and we can just end this game, because this has been going on for a fair while now. We are pretty well in control. That corner not too good. He takes his time on the ball, does the goalkeeper. It ended up being a goal fest, but to be fair, I think those 3 goals late in the first half put this one to bed from then. We're just sort of trading goals there for the last half hour of this game. Pretty disappointing. We've conceded 4, with them only getting 5 shots on target. So they have done quite well. They have Lock North. If they make the final, that might just spur them on a bit to challenge us in a big game. But we pick up a win, and that will book our ticket in the grand final. Let's just see off the back of this what happened in the other games on this match day, because that could really shape things up for a big final day, which we'll recap before we come back for tomorrow's episode, because international window right off the back of this one. But indeed, we are in the final, and currently Western Suburbs are in second, Havelock North still third, and that is because Auckland City were held to a draw by Western Springs, who these days cannot make the final, so it does mean a 3-horse race on the final day of the season to see who plays us in the National League final, and it's a tight race as well, only 1 point separating those 3 teams, but thankfully we've booked our ticket off the back of that 6-4 win. So we pick up a win there at Havelock North to book our ticket in both the National League Grand Final, as you can see on screen, the OFC Champions League, more importantly for next season as well. That game did blow out late, but thankfully pick up a win there, and Havelock North should be quite happy with that, only losing by 2 goals. Crowd of 682, that could be an issue for those guys. They need some more fans if they're going to keep having seasons like this one, but it will set up, as I said before, a big day on the final one of the season. Let's just find here the competition. We can have a look at what is coming up. We'll go to matches fixtures and whatnot and go forward to off the back of this international break. So in 2 weeks' time, we take on Melville. That's not important. But one above that, though, very important, Auckland City, they host Havelock North. Whoever wins that one then leads Western Suburbs to drop points against Western Springs, which, as you just saw, Auckland City did. So a couple of big clashes there on the final league day of the season, which could determine who we play in tomorrow's episode. If it's Havelock again, Western Suburbs again, or for the first time this season on camera, I think, Auckland City. But that will do it for today's episode. A big win there eventually. In fact, I say a big win, not really, only won by 2 goals, but 6-4 there over Havelock North. If you enjoyed it as well as the bus trip, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. We'll come back tomorrow, recap World Cup qualifying and also that final day of the National League season, also my other youth intake as well, before we take on one of those 3 teams in the final and hopefully do some end of season review stuff as well. So it could be a big one. Until then, thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.